morning. I was just sanding off my fuselage, and I need to put some paint on it to check the seam lines. Best thing to do, get your canopy, tack it on, especially when I've got the pilots in here and all. Tack it on with some white wood glue just in place, cover it with Maskell, and then you can do your spraying and don't have to worry about it. However, shock horror, looking at the tree, my back canopy snapped completely off here. I hadn't noticed that. I was wondering, why haven't I noticed? I would have noticed that, you know. I went back to my review video, and it's on the picture there. It's actually broken on the picture there. The reason I didn't notice it was there was no broken pieces in the bag. Oh dear. Well, I emailed Airfix to say I got this broken part and it was in the bag broken, but no broken pieces. So, what can I do? Nothing. Long wait time. I don't know when I'm going to get this. Probably 28 days or something like that it's going to be. But I'm going to forage on. The front canopy is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack that on, and I'm going to tack on the back end as well. And that piece in there won't matter for now because it's out of the way. Well, I only need to cover the front canopy up. Keep that out of the way and do me lines in, so I can get this basically done and finished by the back canopy. I'll be able to do everything I need to do it, and when the back canopy does come from Airfix, I can pop that on. I'll just need to spray the bars on it and I can pop it on there. So that should be alright. I can put all the rest of the clear parts on there okay. Just for instance, I've done that this morning. I put the glazing in the wing. I painted it silver on the inside. I've fixed the glazing in with my old-fashioned way of doing it, which is gloss varnish. It's been it's gloss varnish on the inside, part put on there. Just leave it to dry. That'll hold. Again, on the rear section here, I found very tiny little cracks all the way down, so I've had to fill those up, and that was not much at all really, but I'm going to have to put the panel lines back in, and I will use my new Trumpeter rivet detailer to put the rivets back in on the bottom. I'll probably need to do the top as well, just a couple of places. Although it's raised rivets on this, and that does recessed rivets, it may work, it may not, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to get on, sand this down when this is dried, and I'll get back to you in a bit. The other one is, well, so many people complain about the wings, there are big gaps in the wings. When I've done mine, I put a straight edge on them, and this one I haven't done yet, but it wobbles. It literally wobbles. It don't seem a lot, but on the wing like this, it does move a great deal, even though it's only a small lump in the centre. It's where the two halves are being glued together, and that's sort of, it comes up like that, and we've got to take this lump off. Simple matter of getting a sanding stick and just sanding down the centre of it. Now I've already put some primer on this so you can see it. Right, you'll only have to sand sort of like that piece there, and we'll keep going all the way around, and we'll sand that centre section off completely. Actually, I've used the other side, that's a bit rougher. I'll come down a bit quicker there. So what we actually want to do, if we can, is either have it flat or slightly concave, so the outside edge is above the middle. What that will do is then that will connect flat to the surface of the fuselage. There's no interference in the middle. A good bit of glue inside that, it will hold it nice and steady, and you'll lose your gap. And I can show you that with the other wing that I've done. Let me hold this up here. There we go. there. How much gap's down there? There's nothing down there, is there? And on the back here, down here as well. Now, I haven't just primed over, I haven't put filler in there and primed over it. That's what you're thinking. I haven't. I've done that, sanded it down, and actually got that wing to sit on there flush. Same as this one. I put some primer on this before, some grey primer, and it was bubbling up in places. It was awful. I think I must have got some grease on the wing or something like that, but I was unhappy with it, so I washed it off because it was still wet, and I went to my can of this one's white. I'm out of white, so I've had to use the red double acrylic primer. Actually, I'm going to get some more of this probably tomorrow. Yeah, I'll get some more tomorrow. Put that on here. It's done the job. It's cleaned it up. There's no bubbles on it. The surface is prepared nicely. The only thing about the red is it's a bit dark. For the colours I want, I really want to put down a grey, a light grey or white on this, so I can do the colouring. It'll probably be white actually, because I've got a white band on the back. I just mask that up where I need the band. I spray over the top of everything, and when it's finished, take that off, and I've got the white band there already done. Don't have to touch it. So that's that bit done. Oh, we've got the glazing on that as well, as you know. I glued the glazing on the front cowling. I've got the clear part, which is the bomb sight. If I'd done one of these again, I would super detail it and have the controls that come up into the cockpit as well. But what I really would like is them to do Airfix to do another 48 scale Stuka, but update the tooling with a new tooling. They've got the 72nd scale coming out, and that looks nice, and I've got that on my list, I think. If I haven't, I'll just wait till it comes out. Okay, I've been getting on with this, and as you see, I've got quite a way. I put some white paint on it. I put the yellow, put the band on the nose. I've done the lighter white on here, so I can put some pre-shading on it. That'll hopefully show through. I've done the yellow on the nose, as I said. What I have done is I've had to take the engine cowling off again. What happened was, during the drying process, I don't know whether it was me or something, it slipped and it was out of alignment, so I had to cut it off again. And just to show you inside here, this piece here was warped, so I had to put a piece in here to push these two sides out again, and I've glued that in, and everything seems to fit perfectly, so he says. Yeah, everything seems to fit perfectly. But when I got up this morning, like I said, instead of having it like that, it was actually like that, so that's why I had to cut it off. I'll make sure this time. I put it on with clamps last time, and that might have moved with the clamp. So I'm going to stick some tape over the nose this time, and hopefully that will do the job. Whack that bit of glue off of there. There we go. Which means I've got to do all the yellow again. Right, quick note on the JU87. I've lost some of the video. I think I've deleted it by mistake. Doesn't matter. What I've done is I've pre-shaded it, and I've put the blue on the bottom, which is RML 65. Come through lovely. I don't know whether you can see that on there, but what I've also done, in the middle of the panels, I put on RML 65 again, but with a tiny drop of white in the paint, and then I've doubled the paint up again in the airbrush with thinners. So I've got, instead of having 50-50 mix, it's now more like a, I don't know, 75% mix of thinners to 25% of paint, so very thin watery paint, and I've done the centre of panels and lightened them up. I could do it again, but I don't think it'll work on here, but it's done what I wanted. I've got light centre panels, the right blue, and then the dark pre-shading coming through, so it looks nice. I'm going to leave it like that. Again, when I come to do the camouflage pattern, I'll do the light green first. Again, lighten the green down, do the panels on the light green, shade them out a bit, and that should do that. And then the same with the dark green as well. It'll be very watered down, or thinned down I should say, because I want the pre-shading to come through these colours as well on top of what I'm doing. So hopefully I'm going to get a nice finish with this. I've also left some of the yellow spray on here, some of the red still showing through in places, and this will all add to the colour variation on the camouflage pattern as well. As you see, some places are really dark pre-shading in it, other places are pure white with a bit of black on it. Again, it's one of those things where putting a thin coat of paint over this and letting this bleed through just brings the aircraft to life, I think anyway. It's a technique I learned actually just recently within the last 5 years. If anybody's seen my Canberra one, you'll see what I mean. That was done with 2 shades of lightning done on it in the paneling. It was done with a as I said on there, I've done it with a drop of white into the original colour, added thinners to it, a lot more thinners to it, sprayed the inside panels, about 3/4 of them got that light spray. Then I've got another white or grey, depending on the actual colour you're using, dropped that in there, refilled it again with even more thinners, so it's really thin right down, and just done the centre of each panel, so I've got that 3 shaded look on the panel, well 4 shaded with the pre-shading on there as well, but the colours were 3 shaded, the original lighter and then even lighter still, and the effect is really nice, I think, anyway. So I'll be doing it on this, but only 2 shaded rather than 3 shaded, as I've done on the bottom here. So see you in a bit.